Peace, family. Doc in the building. And I'm here to talk about Trump from an indigenous perspective and address civics, tariffs, and prophecy or predictive sciences. I was watching a cabinet meeting. It was about a 47-minute cabinet meeting, and Trump and various heads of departments were talking about the things that they were doing to create the style of government that they thought would be best for the future of this country. And so, I do that all the time. Like, you'll find me up in the house literally at 3 o'clock in the morning, waking up early, filling my mind with something that will match what my readings propose is best for me, or just intuitive interest. And so I'm watching this cabinet meeting and I'm looking at it like, I know exactly what I'm watching. Like, in time and space and circumstances of human existence, I know what I'm looking at. And so it goes back to my early training in indigenous anthropology, and a part of what I put myself to study was the myth systems and predictive sciences of indigenous people. I'm talking Hopi, She, Olmec Mayan, Dogon, Egyptian, whatever. That was just, back in the early 2000s, that was huge in my study because, I'm figuring out I got this indigenous ancestry. We have this indigenous ancestry. And I'm like, let me look at how they thought. So anyway, the point is, and some people will argue back and forth about this, but it is absolute truth, that there is a Hopi prophecy about the man in the red hat. And it's associated with a chief doing a specific Kachina dance. And we went over the word Kachina. We know what that means, like really, how it's related to casino and divination and kitchen, Kachina. That's where you get the etymology of the word kitchen, and cooking. Cooking was the medicine. So anyway, the point is, our people at various points in their history on this land were able to see the future. And they saw this coming, this great shift that's coming. So the indigenous perspective is a non-biased look, really academically, at the prophecies surrounding this moment. And so that's the perspective that I mean when I say Trump from an indigenous perspective. This new civics that is arising. Y'all lucky. I'm going to say this, and I've never said this. I don't even know if I want to say it, but I'm going to say it anyway. Y'all lucky I'm here, because I can help my people in the most practical, progressive, and transformational way understand this moment. And it's just because of about 30 years that I have dedicated to this, all of this that you see us doing in Arna. Even before I knew Arna was about to come about, because Arna came later. But the point is that in viewing that meeting, and they had heads from the Department of Veterans Affairs, they had Doge in there, they had the heads of the EPA, they had all types of various people in this cabinet, Marco Rubio. And I saw two things that are very unique. I saw a third polarity, and I'm not into astrology at all, but I am into predictive indigenous sciences. So that's why I'm saying third polarity. You would misname it Gemini, which is incorrect. But I saw the simple ability of a businessman who wants good for his country bring people together in a form of teamwork that has never existed in American politics. And so they have full confidence in their leadership now. That group of new Republicans. And these people who are European descendants, come here and been here, fought revolutionary wars, whatever, and interacted with indigenous people. They haven't had this type of leadership since the American Revolution, since this country was founded. The types of things that are happening with Doge, the fraud, etc., it's never been done since the founding of this country for them. Because I'm getting to a point. What you have happening now is a transformational society shift. And so this Trump versus the deep state is a real thing. So the style of government, of shrinking down government so that you're not wasting the people's energy and reinvesting it into the people through entrepreneurialism, business, and allowing the private development of human beings to rule how the society runs is, in fact, the highest form of civics that you can operate. It is the highest form of civics. And it is, in fact, what our indigenous ancestors taught their founding fathers. I've already covered that for years. The details, the academics of who was here, who was Titi Shung, who was Chief Tammany, who was Chief Powhatan, what was this 32 tribe confederation in the South? Why did they have 13 stars and 13 olive branches and 13 arrows in the circle of 13? And how is that related to wampum and the Zolkin? And where they learned this style of government from? Because the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that the Republican form of government is closest to what would be a successful thing for us. And now we're seeing indigenous prophecy, predictive sciences unfold. And so people are getting mad because Trump is cutting off all the fat out of the government in the sense of downsizing. And, you know, they got a grant over here for $2 billion that Stacey Abrams got from the Environmental Protection Agency. And they got all these NGOs and pass-throughs that they're passing money to people through, where they're not doing anything, and they're using DEI and other schematics to steal energy from the people. That's essentially the design of the government that was running. Make people entitled, completely dependent, push all of our competition away from making America great again, in the sense of, because I know how y'all people get, y'all liberal people, especially black liberals. Y'all gonna call me a coon. You're not understanding what I'm saying. The development of people, purpose, and business. Go back to your indigenous sciences. Y'all are about to see America great again. But the difference is that the original indigenous people who fed all of the mechanisms for that original revolution to take place, it's rising too. And so when you hear me start saying, look, I'm talking now to people in ARNA. Most of y'all don't understand ARNA from the inside. Y'all understand it from the outside. People who do indigenous psychology homework have to look at the birth of Malcolm X and the death of Malcolm X and Noble Drew Ali and black leaders and Martin Luther King Jr. and look at their indigenous charting and see what were the mechanisms for those things to potentially come into existence, and get on a high level of social engineering to understand where it comes from. The highest level of social engineering. Not this dumb liberal democratic level of social engineering where it's robbing people of the most transformational parts of how societies can get together. So they're cutting all of that fat out. Now the tariffs, y'all don't understand, this man is a high level chess player. The purpose of the tariffs is to show who the motherfucking boss is. Like, sometimes you got to pop out and show niggas. The purpose of the tariffs is that regardless of what you think about the world, the United States of America is still the most powerful country in the world. And what makes the United States of America the most powerful nation in the world, don't get upset with me about this, because this is just my opinion now, is the black people that work with the white people to originate this whole thing. Those two groups of people and the infusion of taking advantage of the innate gifts of those two groups of people. Anyway, we don't got to spend the time, but it is the most powerful nation, and it has everything to do with technology and culture. You'll never have a Michael Jordan in Africa, and I love Africa. Africa is great. You'll never have a Michael Vick. You'll never have a Tupac. You must understand history to understand why I'm saying that. This place is the most influential place on all levels, but it was losing that. And so now the tariffs are to let the other nations of the world know we have this interplay with you economically, and we're trading a lot of different things. But a lot of our money is making your country, your operation, your business run. You're going to come and make the chips here. All of the global companies that outsource all of the stuff, you bringing that back. Or you're going to pay us. Because now we're going to get the wealth regardless to do what our vision is. And our vision is STEM, manufacturing, nationalism, where we build the wealth of people. The United States of America is a jack of diamonds and a king of clubs and an eight of hearts. The jack of diamonds is the most savvy entrepreneur in the building. The king of clubs is the most scientific and militaristic operation. And the eight of hearts is the boss of the feelings and culture of the world. How do I know that about the United States of America? Because my cards are the United States of America in reverse. So I know what that king of clubs, jack of diamonds, eight of hearts is about. And that is indigenous science. You might not be into all of that, but that's cool. Back to business. The tariffs are going to show who the boss is. It's going to rebuild domestic infrastructure, and all of the little people who crying because of their entitled jobs that they had, where it was a bunch of fake stuff going on. I'm talking, the fraud that they're finding is just ridiculous. I might pin that particular meeting inside of the comments here, just so y'all can see. It's ridiculous. All right. So this is about a new civics. The new civics is the original style of government that we gave these people. They want to implement it. We meaning indigenous people. The Republican form of government was seeded from the conservative, mound building indigenous governments that were on this land. And I went into great detail. Even the 3-branch government, that's not Roman or Grecian, or that's not European in the sense of monarchies. That was taken from the She, specifically the Powhatan, who later were called Delaware. Anyway, they had 3 branches of government, and the whole design was passed over to Charles Thompson and John Hancock and all of the early followers who were interacting, who were being initiated by tribes. Like, it gets very deep on the academic side, and we've recorded all that in books and everything. So this is what I mean. So ARNA is about to transform. We've been cooking quietly, but how the government is doing contracting, grants, again, meritocracy, If you have a skill set that is bar none, you're gonna cook. And so this separates the fake leadership in the black community, the online social influencers, as I said in the last video. This Trump indigenous perspective is to show you that if you do a highly technical demographic study of the black experience here, economically, culturally, etc., there is a shift about to come that's going to be so crazy. It's already been cooking. And the only group of people who are prepared for the next 50 years will be the people who incubated in Arna. I swear. Or something like that. Because it's about network building. It's about specialization. It's about self-governing and autonomy. And yes, you're going to watch us get restitution. You who are watching, other black people, you're going to watch us because you're not going to get it. And when I say you are not going to get it, any one of you who stay out of the indigenous zone and don't understand your real ancestry and how we're about to get restitution through this administration, your children's children will be mad at you. They'll be mad at you. Because there's nothing but advantage. Nobody is asking anybody to be in an uncomfortable position like the past thought projects amongst, black people. I call them thought projects because some of them were cults, some of them were a whole bunch of things, but none of it had to do with self-governance, autonomy, and being about business and family, and that's it. It's about raising leaders up, creating messiahs. Like it's crazy. And it's nothing wrong with mythos and indigenous tradition that applies to your religion, your spirituality, or whatever. But the highest sciences on the earth are biology and government. That's it. Because we got bodies and we got societies that have to come together to interact with one another. And once you get an understanding of very efficient ways to run that, then you get excited for this time period because, the messenger said there would be white people that will help us. Y'all looking for Masons and all kind of other. These are the white people. And I'm not making this a racial thing. I'm just saying that these are the white people who are taking back their government. It's all about government now. We're all in different parts of it. But we have the special classification as indigenous, which puts us in a great position to correct a lot of things that have happened in the past here and to get our people restitution. And to do it in a format where our scientists, indigenous scientists, tribal jurists, etc., have a place in the world. Educators, etc., midwives, all those things. So I'm excited about what's happening now. I just wanted to come and talk to you all about that and just keep laying it down. Like as you see things unfold within the next year, in 2 years, in 3 years, specifically with ARNA and specifically in the United States of America, we're fixing this mess. You need to understand the old black American thought project and culture is dying. And what's coming up out of the ashes is all indigenous. It's all business now. Get your mind right.